we got the final college football teams kind of getting set here. We got 8 teams set in the college football playoffs right now. That comes down to Ohio State, Indiana, which, wow, number 1, number 2, Big Ten championship,
Yes,
first
sir.
time
Big
ever.
game. Yeah, big
And
game.
guess where College Game Day is not going to be? Not there. They're going to be at the SEC game because they're paid for by, we all know how that goes. But
Georgia and Bama.
to not be at 1 versus 2 for the Big Ten championship if you're game day, that's absurd. I'm sorry. Like, show your colors a little bit more with the SEC allegiance and loyalties. But insane game. Best Ohio State defense ever versus best Indiana team ever. Going to be an insane football game. Ohio State, no team scored over 17 points on them this season. I think teams are averaging like 7 points a game. Just absurd. Like, I think they allowed like 80-something total points this year.
I don't think it's going to be close, though, Austin. You
think they're going to whoop that ass?
I think Ohio State going to really show them this football is different. I think
so too.
I don't think it's going to be close. I really don't think. And maybe they don't blow them out by more than 3 touchdowns, but I just think it's going to be, if you look at it, be like, oh, damn, Ohio State dominated them the whole game. So I don't think it's going to be close.
I mean, Mendoza's going to be motivated. This is a huge game for his NFL draft stock, if not the biggest game of his career for his NFL draft stock. And right now he's teetering between him, Dante Moore, assuming Moore comes out, that is he going to be the number 1 guy? Is he going to be a team a player that teams want to build around? If he can do work on this defense, this is as good of a defense like college football maybe has ever seen. And if he can show up, I think he bumps his draft stock massively, becomes a top 3 lock pick. I don't think he's exactly there right now. I think there'll be a team that'll take him in the top 5, but I think this puts him at number 2 or 3 in the draft if he balls out. So I think he's going to come and motivate him. And Cignetti knows Cignetti's a baller himself, so we'll see. But anyways, I can't believe College Game Day is not going to that. Anyways, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M for your girl, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, Oklahoma. They're all in. It is down now to ACC champ and the G5 champs to kind of round it out with 2 still at-large bids. So, Iman, who is our pick? We got to it comes down to really Bama, Texas, Notre Dame, BYU, Vandy. What are your thoughts on that field?
So, I do everything with the eye test. I tell people all the time, I'm more eye test. I think Bama is the best team out of those 4 between Notre Dame, Texas, and Vandy. So I think Alabama should get in. I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I just can't be biased with my eyes. To me, I think Texas will have a better chance to win a national title this year than Notre Dame does. So I would rather see Texas over Notre Dame. And just for the small guy just finally winning, I wouldn't mind seeing Vandy in. I'm just being honest. Diego Pavia, he's must-see TV. And I just love parity in sports. Like putting Vanderbilt, this is not baseball now. Let's understand. They've won baseball titles. Vanderbilt in the college football playoff, I would rather see them. But I think Alabama's the best team. But I would go with Texas after Alabama and Texas as far as the best 2 teams. And I'm just going to stand on this hill, keep saying, I don't want to see a fucking ACC team if it's not Miami in there. Georgia Tech blew it. I don't want to see Duke. If Duke wins the ACC, we got to look at Duke in there. No,
yeah, that's not going to be. Nobody wants that.
Yeah,
Virginia versus Duke. Let's be honest. Virginia's the better team there. Virginia's going to. If Virginia blows this, I think that would be crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do, though.
Man, I can't.
Duke hungry. They got a foot in the door, so they may just be like, "Fuck it, we got a chance."
I don't know. I'm just refused to buy. I think Georgia Tech has looked like the better. I think Virginia's looked like the better team. I think they'll be able to handle it and pull it off. I have just not. I refuse to buy the Duke. But Vandy, I'm all in with you. They've had a tough schedule this season. Their 2 losses have been to 2 top 25 teams, one being Texas, who is also a playoff contender here, arguably on top of it. But, again, that kind of gives Texas the leg on Vanderbilt if it really comes down to it, the fact that they got the head-to-head. But this is Vanderbilt team's a team who has benched its starters in 7 of 12 games this year because they've just been kicking that much ass. Like that is what they've been doing to their schedule, which has been one of the tougher ones. Like I said, they just dog walked number 19 Tennessee, who's been a damn good team all season. And I think the fact that they're not really moving up or down or anything, it just feels like the forces are against them, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it feels like the committee doesn't want them in. They didn't expect them to be in, and they got the other teams favored. And I guess the only thing I can see going against Vanderbilt really is if you look at all the top 14 teams, really, their 66 points allowed. The combined 66 wins from their opponents is like bottom of the top 14. So if you want to look at it that way, they've face teams with fewer wins altogether than other teams in like the top 14, top 15. So that is going to go against them as well as the Texas thing. Bama has to beat Georgia. If Bama is 9-3, and this is a conversation that might happen, if Bama loses to Georgia, there's a 39% chance that they still make it into the playoffs. That's the numbers I think whatever channel put up there. That Florida, it's going to really come down to that Florida State loss versus their strength of schedule that will come down if there's 3 L's. Like, Bama's got a very tough schedule this season. And they're doing, besides Florida State, the Oklahoma loss, that's a fine loss, I guess, if you have to put it that way.
Because Oklahoma's in the 18.
They're in. Yep. So I think if they lose to Georgia and have that third loss, they're going to have to play like almost a lights out game against Georgia and lose on like a walk-off field goal from 50 yards to like convince that a 3-loss team should be in. Because there's going to be a lot of people who say, why the hell are we letting a 3-loss team in?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Texas is a tough one for me. They're smoking.
Yeah, you think? They've been playing good ball at the end of the year now, though, Austin.
They are. I know it. They are. And I think that's why it's tough because maybe not tough. I feel like they're the inverse of Vanderbilt where the things are going in their favor and they got the committee on their side maybe a little bit, right? I mean, and everyone's talking about the schedule. Well, if they wouldn't have scheduled Ohio State, well, sorry that you scheduled Ohio State. Because, yeah, if you don't schedule Ohio State, they'd be 10-2 and 100% in. But on the flip side of that coin, if you just beat Florida, you're still 10-2 and 100% in. So there's both sides to that argument with Texas. And if we're starting at number 16 right now, right, they got the Vandy spot. They got the head-to-head against Vandy, so that puts them above Vandy. Michigan lost to Ohio State, so that's going to put Texas above Michigan. Miami doesn't have the conference championship game and a much worse strength of schedule, so that should put Texas above Miami. And then let's be honest about what BYU's schedule has been, and a terrible strength of schedule. Yeah. And they got smoked by Texas Tech. BYU, it's as simple as win and you're in. It should be pretty simple. But if they lose, they're out. They're screwed if they lose to Texas Tech for a second time. They're done.
Yeah, I don't want to see them. I hope Texas Tech beat them. I don't want to. I'm just telling you, Austin, I don't want to see these teams in the playoffs. I don't want to see Mormons in the playoffs. I get it. Listen, come to the door, give me the booklet, teach me about what God is, but I don't want to see y'all play football. Y'all are weak. BYU is weak. I don't want to see them. I'm just being honest. I don't want to see UVA either, and I'm from Virginia. I love the Cavaliers. Pete Allen, 98 Peach Bowl. I remember it, but no. I don't want to see UVA there too. So just let the best teams play.
BYU's a gritty team. I don't know. How do you keep them out? If they beat Texas Tech, which top 5 team in the nation in the playoffs, how do you keep them out with, even despite the strength of the schedule, with their record and the teams they have beat then? How would you keep them out?
Because if they beat Texas Tech, is because Texas Tech is really looking past them because they're in. They're already in. I just don't. If they beat it, it's not like they're beating a Texas Tech who's playing for something. Texas Tech know they're in. They're not playing for anything. I don't want to see that. And I'm telling you, that's one of them schools that I didn't know nothing about until you told me. So they're not even going to beat them. I think Texas Tech is going to beat them again. But I just don't want. That's what I'm saying. I just don't want no wacky shit to happen for BYU to win and then they're in and we got to look at that shit. I don't want to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I love the sentiment of I want truly the best of the best. And I think it happens every year. Every team's going to start pleading their case. We already saw Sarkisian. That's just crazy about Texas. The number 1 seed, the number 1 ranked team to start the season is going to be pleading on their knees, begging to get into the championship or get into the playoffs this year. And Sark's out there begging. Every coach is going to be doing their little tours to plead for the committee. Please, please let us in. This is why you should let us in. And it's always like a hair splitting thing. But it sounds like you're not too high on Notre Dame, though.
No,
you don't want them in. You don't think they should be in.
We do not deserve to. First of all, we play a sugar sweet schedule, which I'm like, we're Notre Dame. Let's really start putting our teams to the test, Marcus Freeman. And I just don't think we have the levels to be in a championship because I mean we made the finals last year. Like we don't have the quarterback, we have the best running back in the nation. We have a decent line. But no, I think we're out. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think we're good. I just don't think we're good this year, and I don't want to get my hopes up. And I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I just don't want to get my hopes up to think that we're going to get in the playoffs and do anything. We're going to get smoked the first game.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, the head-to-head loss versus Miami is going to kill him. It's just going to kill him. I mean, strength of schedule on both sides is relatively the same. So both 10-2. Miami's got the head-to-head. The strength of schedule is not too much different. So that pretty much seals it for Miami. Like, you can kind of cut off the argument there because, right, there'd be Notre Dame fans who will say, well, we lost to Miami and A&M, both really good teams, where Miami lost to Louisville and SMU, which are much lesser teams. But at the same time, then of course you got the Texas debate. Like, well, will they get over Texas? Texas has that terrible loss to Florida and needed OT to beat Kentucky and Mississippi State, which so they're going to be fighting for that as well. I don't know. I think again that blatant missed call against A&M at the end of the game on the game-winning touchdown pass that changes the whole conversation around this.
Yeah.
That again, that's an 11-1 team, top 5 team all year. If that call gets held, the blatant holding call, linebacker gets just held by a lineman right up the middle as Reed throws the game-winning touchdown pass. Like that was a big miss. And I know it's lame to blame refs for a loss, but that one didn't seem like that was egregious.
It was pretty bad. But now these past 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, we looking at Texas A&M. Are they really a good team?
Marcel Reed, he's like.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. These past couple of weeks, I've been looking at them like, is this a good team?
Mid-game, Marcel Reed goes from Heisman to don't even consider me for Heisman.
JV, exactly.
Yeah. Heisman to JV throughout these games recently. So that is definitely an interesting thing to see with his play. But again, a lot of talent on that offense. A lot of boys everywhere for that one. So I don't know. I think again, if Bama wins, they're obviously in. That's going to be pretty cut and dry. I would like to see Vandy. I agree. I want to see Vandy. But again, I think with how everything I kind of laid out with the Vandy's case versus Texas case, who I ultimately think this is going to come down to, assuming BYU loses, I think Texas gets in. I think they get in. I think Virginia's going to handle Duke. I at least hope so. I want nothing to do with Duke in my college football playoffs.
No, please. No.
Please, yes, no. Football gods, please save us from having to watch that ass kicking. No. But all right. Let's move over to the sorry. So who are you taking? Finally, I guess. Who are your final takes?
Alabama and Texas. I'm going Alabama and Texas because I think Alabama will upset Georgia this weekend too. I'm going Alabama.
Okay, so if Alabama loses,
then I'm going Texas and Vandy. I just think it's no.
I want to see that too, but I feel like they find a way to keep Bama in there if it's a close game. If Bama loses and it's a close game, they play well, I think they put Bama in there still because they have one of the toughest schedules in the nation, bar none. Difficult schedule, and they've been winning. Again, that Florida State loss is killing them.
3 losses, though. I really think that committee is gonna get.
We'll see the bias come out.
Yeah, if they go in with 3 losses, that committee's gonna have some real issues in a couple days.
Building might get burned down. Might get burned down. So I don't know. I feel like depends on how that game goes. I could see Bama getting in with 3 losses. I don't like it because I would still want to see Texas and Vandy as well in that case. And again, we're all assuming BYU loses.